Hey, classic punk. Well, we could rare draft. Obviously, Price of Fame is the best pick, but this is 20 gems, and there's no guarantee we're playing black. Actually, if this were a, like, I like playing Dimir so much, we're going to take Price of Fame, but if this were like if the best card in the pack were like a Rock Charger, I would rare draft. I would totally rare draft. We'll take the Price of Fame here, though. And Deadly Visit or House Guild Mage should take the Deadly Visit in case we end up Golgari, but we don't really expect to. We got some uncommons missing, so let's check our print run. And bots are done passing us rares, it seems. Goblin Banneret and Grappling Sundew have, unfortunately, a Night Veil Sprite between them. So a Night Veil Sprite has been taken out of this pack. Maybe correct to take the Banneret here. It's just the best card. This bat will probably wheel. I'm not interested in this gate. And so, yeah, actually, we are going to take the Banneret, even though it doesn't match anything yet. And then we're hoping to get off of Banneret and back to this nice removal start. And we could take a Crawl Swarm, but it's just a generic closer, basically. And I'd rather actually shore up the cheaper end of our deck with a Burglar Rat here. Invert, Invent. Let's check out what's going on here. Invert, Invent, and and Glaive have Crackling Drake between them. So Crackling Drake was taken out of this pack. Good to know. We're on Notion Rain. Easy peasy. See ya, Goblin. There was a chance there for a moment. But look where we ended up. Who knew? Yes, for those who haven't seen the print run thing before, Sheesh Falco has put up the info on screen. Thanks, Carpe. Yeah, I tried to make it work that one time, and then it fell off. It's fallen off my radar. I don't think you need to help me. I think I just need to reprioritize time onto it when I'm not on the air. So I will definitely Discord you if I try it and run into problems. But I don't think that'll even be the problem. Problem is that there's nothing good in this pack. So yeah, we'll take the bats. I like the crab here over the knight, Child Knight. Silent Dart, Desperation Removal. Uncommon for Progress. Same here. We're not playing I don't think I've ever played a Moodmark Painter. It may have just... I had so much going on screen, Carpe. It literally might have just gone somewhere where I couldn't find it or didn't know what it meant that it had, anyway. But if I get a chance to mess with it off air and it's still having an issue, then I'll turn to you. But I really just think it's a matter of getting some time with it when I'm not on air. We're going to rare draft here because there's not much to take. Plague Crafter ends up being really kind of weak and prevents you from being able to play anything like Capture Sphere. Not that I like to play Capture Sphere, but, it's not a great card. And these two are fine, but we'll probably wheel one of them. So we'll take Dawn of Hope and get some gems. Because, again, for those of you who have not been hanging with me for a long time, I play on two different accounts primarily. There's a third that shows up sometime, but we're on our paid account. And this account played the heck out of Guilds of Ravnica even before I started streaming. So it has 4x of all the rares and mythics. And so every rare mythic we take is worth gems. So we are put to the rare drafting test every time there's a rare or mythic in the pack. Fortunately not here, where we just get to snap up the sweet deadweight. Here's the type of choice we're talking about, though. Like, this is worth 20 gems, but is this worth 20 gems worth of win percentage? Hard to say. How do you view losses, wins when a guild is open but doesn't give you any rares, high-level mythics? I mean, I guess I don't fully understand your question, Ubermensch. But we'll take the campaign. We all want the campaign. Here's another place to rare draft. We have nothing going on here, so let's snag the rare. Looks like we're getting cut maybe on black and blue, unfortunately, in pack 2 here. Collection progress on free-to-play is slow enough to not really matter. If you're a limited-only player, you can use wildcards. So one trick you can do. So let's say this was the free-to-play account, and we didn't have 4 of everything, but we did have this kind of collection of rare and mythic wildcards. Like we have 22 rare wildcards. What you can do is, we get rid of this Dawn of Hope and use it as the example. We have, in fact, let's just, so I don't need to do it here because we already have 4x of everything. But if this were the free-to-play account, it probably doesn't have 4 Dawn of Hope, but it probably has a couple of rare wildcards. So maybe it has 2 Dawn of Hope and 2 rare wildcards or more. You leave the draft, go to your collection, craft 2 copies of Dawn of Hope, and then at the end of the draft, you'll get credit. You'll get 20 gems in credit. So you can go and craft 4 ofs mid-draft of rares you have taken to be able to convert them into gems by the end of the draft. And now back to this sadness where for some reason people are suggesting, I don't know who's wanting to take the Lurcher. I get that it's a more powerful creature than the bats, but we're nowhere near splashing green, and this is not a card we would want to splash for. So it's off base to go for the Lurcher here. You just want to take the bats. Guild Summit, Dazzling. We want Dazzling for our Disinfo campaign because it's good. But this pack has been horrendous. Horrendous. This is why some people advocate forcing Selesnya, because you always get a Selesnya deck if you want it. I just never want it. We might splash for an Assassin if the cards came our way. This would, but probably just take the Wall. It's playable. I hardly ever play Wall of Mist, but it is playable. Like, I take the Child and then take this out. Like, I'd much rather have a Child of Night. This has been pretty rough, but getting some marginal playables here to have it not be worthless. I like this in best of 3, where sometimes you get into a grindy Surveil battle. Ubermensch says, Control is it without bombs, lost to 2x Boros aggro and a Dimir control. Felt that you got bad matchups, but also felt like your power level was low. It could have been all of the above. That's a good way to go 0-3. Have bad matchups with a low power level deck. Ryan MTG asks, is rare drafting optimal? It depends on what money means to you. I like to approach the rare drafting question from the perspective of somebody for whom every dollar counts, for whom scratching out entertainment value is a high priority. And for that person, they need to at least understand what the parameters are, and then you can decide for yourself. If you want to get into the math of it, we can talk about that later maybe, but basically you can, I mean, historically looking at, you know, I was talking to Luis about this on his stream, and his experience on Eternal was that the most busted card that they had ever made that had the hugest win percentage gap, like if this is in your deck, what does it do to your win percentage? The best card for that in Eternal was like a close to 5% swing, and that was extreme. That was that's like broken level crazy. So I think for the most part, when you decline to take a reasonable pick and take a rare instead, you're not actually nudging your win percentage that much. And you can actually do the math and say, I expect to win this percent of the time with this win percentage, which produces this much of a gem result. Whereas if I take the card I want, you know, there's a calculus there. There's a simple math. I shouldn't even call it calculus. It's just some basic math of what your expected value is from gems from the event on your win percentage, and what the 20 is worth for you. And you can just do the math of it. So Locket versus Bones, we're not taking enhanced surveillance. It's just unplayable in best of one, in my opinion. So yeah, we'll take a Locket as slightly more playable. And a Mesmerist isn't the worst, isn't the best, but it's definitely not the worst. So here's hoping for a much better pack 3, because pack 2 was grim. We have no gates yet. We do have a Spybug, a Deadweight, or a Notion Rain. Probably just the Spybug, although it might be just the Deadweight even. Rare draft the Azoni, but I think this deck needs help, and probably needs it on the... How are we doing on Surveil? We have 1, 2, 3... 4, 5 Surveil triggers, which is not a lot, but we're hoping to add more. So we'll take the Spybug over the removal. Sizzle for the splash is tempting, but not in pack 3 with no gates to speak for yet. And here's something that says Surveil on it, so we'll take it. It's a little early for that card. I don't like that card that early. I want one Notion Rain. Oh, we have one Notion Rain. Great. We have a Notion Rain, so let's get our first takedown over second Notion Rain. Another Disappearance. First cover up here is good. Dowser's fine. Fine playable, if unexciting. We have a lot of Disappearances, and I'm not sure I want more. We could take a gate. Although we also don't have a lot of color demands on our deck, and we could just take a Pilfering Imp. You know I like me some 1-drop hand disruption. So I think it's Pilfering Imp versus Gate. What do y'all think? We're at 23 cards now. That means we have to play a Locket, a Centipede, Child of Night, 2 Unexplained Disappearances, a Silent Dart. We have a lot of... and 2 bats. Like, the low end of this deck is pretty bad, so maybe we need to pass on the gate to increase our spell quality. Gate is really good though. Casting spells is a wonderful thing. I think we need to up our spell quality though. The low end of our deck is pretty bad. Normally with that power level I'm all over the gate, but the power level of our deck dictated that pick for me. And here here's a gate we can take. Main deck Vapors? Maybe? Probably not. And I also don't like barriers, but we'll take it. Really? Yeah, I'm not. I don't dig the main deck surveillance. I don't think it does enough. Let me make note of that 40 in my spreadsheet before I forget. Yeah, if you all want to see my historical results, you can check that out here. Looks like I have some chat to catch up on here. Let me see what people are saying. See you, Thayan. Probably missed you, but glad you hung out while you did. Ubermensch. Ubermensch says, the spirit of the question involves LR saying that success for pros isn't pursued in win-loss record and not to get as tilted as often when playing well, trying to put it into practice. Sure, that's good, Ubermensch. Being able to roll with the short-term variance is a big part of success in Magic, and being able to identify the one of the big keys is not only being able to keep your head high in the spot of having gone 0-3 with a deck you thought was decent, you know, or at least okay, is just hanging on to the awareness that you understand that it's part of the game. And the way I handle it, yeah, I'm a very emotional gamer, but I have been shortening my cycle. So I'll get really mad at a game that doesn't go well like that. But I try to tighten that cycle and just let it all out, be frustrated for a second, then process and move on. That feeling of like, this is just you. The spirit of the LR conversation is about trusting the process. The thing about not looking at wins and losses, not caring about wins and losses, is understanding that if you are tightening up your process and your heuristics and your mentality and your approach, the wins will come. You don't need to think about wins. You need to think about how to make better plays, what heuristics to add to improve the frequency with which you make the correct play, that kind of thing. Cuts here. Yeah, I mean, win rate is the ultimate reflection of skill when you have enough data for that data to be relevant. That's the thing. I still have the question about how you knew that crackling Drake. Okay, so yeah, the print runs. So it looks like chat explained print runs fairly well, but basically it's a bug. Print runs in Magic Online and paper, the uncommon print runs are not as fixed as they are in Arena. So it's just an Arena thing. Neckfurters is absolutely, and in fact, I mentioned it. Neckfurter said, regarding the first gate, I would have passed on it too because you only had one spell that cost double blue. Do you think taking that into account is a good idea? Yeah, and I did mention it. Like, if we had the CCDD uncommon, I would have taken the gate there because we want to be sure we're casting that on time. Let's see. Yeah, I don't hate the deck, but this is not a great deck. And we have 13 creatures. I think I want to cut one bat. Although we might end up bringing that in after we play this. That's 12 creatures, and maybe Silent Dart is too clunky and not really synergistic. Everything else is okay to meh, but that's just kind of the deck we have here. It's okay to meh. Right. Short emotional cycle. But, you know, finding a short emotional cycle has been key for me because I can't just get rid of the emotion. That's why I play games. I love games, and my ability to tie my ego into the results of a game I play, for better or for worse, is just what happens. And I need to understand that about myself and understand and give myself some tools to handle the rough spots, and giving myself permission to have those feelings and not tell myself I'm an idiot for caring so much about a game. It helps too. It's like, no, you're allowed. You're allowed to be frustrated about this. This is your hobby. This is what you're choosing to do with your time. You can be a little annoyed when it doesn't go your way, but then turn it around real quick, you know. I'm going to change my numbers here. Actually, let me get into the queue and I'll change as we're waiting. That's hardcore, Belf. I'm sorry to hear that. But it sounds like you're self-aware about it, and that's always the first step. Just understanding, you know, the people who think they're fine. I don't tilt, or, you know, it's okay. It's not a problem. I don't need to improve that. That's the problem. But if you can identify that it's a place you're struggling and work on it, then that's the best you can hope for. Ubermensch, an example of you did that right, but it didn't work out. Repeat that next time instead of changing it would be keeping a one-lander on the draw when your hand is full, like keeping a single gate. Let's say you had a one gate and 4 2-drops that were all really good, and then some removal at 3 and 4 or something, and you're on the draw. I think you keep that, even though sometimes the result is you never see another land and you look like a dummy because you kept a 1-land hand and then did nothing and lost a game of Magic. But the thought process behind that keep, is reasonable. And so basically, almost any time, like, you never want one result to change your conclusions unless that result specifically, unless you can name it. It's like, okay, what happened there was the creature showed me a side of it that I didn't see at all, and I had it completely misread and completely undervalued, and that one game showed me how wrong I was about that card or that situation. So now I'm gonna change it. That's the time to make a change, but the time not to is like, it just didn't work out. I don't know why it didn't work out. I can't explain why it didn't work out, but because it didn't, I'm going to call that evidence enough and make a change. That's where you're in some danger. Hey, Dr. Coltra.
Some say I never heard of ya, a rap burglar.
Return of the Rat. Dr. Coltra, I would refer to my spreadsheet. Oops. The spreadsheet contains tables that show you how much you expect to earn from a given format. So if you're questioning what you should be playing, I would start there. You can, what you should do is copy that spreadsheet to your own Google Drive so you can edit it. And then once you can edit it, you can change the win percentage from 50% to whatever you think your match win percentage is in the format you're looking at. And then it will tell you, it will help you out with that. Let's see, we could Notion Rain here to find our land, but I'm going to Dimir Locket. We need to cast it eventually anyway. And we did play a land this turn, so next turn we can Notion Rain and play a land and still have Unexplained Disappearance. Yeah, Valhalla's, you hit on something important as well. When something goes wrong, what can you learn from it? And it's fundamentally what I'm talking about in terms of, can you name your reason why this result should change your behavior? And generally, if you can name why the result should lead to a change in behavior, it's because you are paying attention to that nitty-gritty, paying attention to the edges and where you could have improved. So we didn't draw a land, but I'm going to try the Notion Rain approach. They are suspiciously holding up like what could be a Disdainful Stroke, for example. Do this. And yeah, we're going to go for the Notion Rain and try to have Unexplained Disappearance. Do we want this Dowser is the question. It's pretty derpy, but that might be good in the Dimir Mirror here. I'm hoping they do something else to make the Spybug big. We're going to reset the Spybug with this Disappearance at some point, or maybe we just take it down. Yeah, so we are going to disappear the Spybug, and we will Artful take down the Dream Eater, and maybe they'll bounce our rat. Oh, sure. Sometimes it's all about taking chances, right? Like, I did everything right and read the first pack perfectly, and it was 100% Dimir, and then, wouldn't you know it, the other 16 packs we opened in the draft were all terrible for Dimir, and I just ended up with a bad deck. You know, I mean, that's an extreme example, but that's kind of what we're talking about in terms of where things can go wrong despite doing things correctly. So we'll send that back, get a little reprieve from it. Let's ditch the land. I think we'll find the land we want. Although if we keep it, we do get Artful Takedown plus a recast of the Mesmerist. Yeah, we need enough land. I'll go ahead and take the land. That's good for us. Good to be able to do two things here. I will also go ahead and just take it down now. No need to let him untap. There are times where you're doing it right by playing to a specific out. Oh, you're talking about the draft portion specifically. Mainly it's just I'm correct. I'm reading the signals correctly. I'm making the correct picks, but ultimately the human factor at the table or the randomness of the pack led to a poor draft anyway. Okay. None of our surveil payoffs yet. But let's start with an attack. And we'll go ahead and trade off the Mesmerist for the Spy Bug if they want to, but we won't throw the Rat into harm's way. Seven mana. One Dowser or the other two cards. Dowser does good work on this board, and it plays around the potential stroke they were flashing. I mean, they showed us leaving up stroke mana before, so let's cast this 4+ drop while we have shields down over there. Uh-huh. Now I want to crack the locket, and we can... Although, let's see. We can Informant first and then crack the locket? Or maybe we want the Centipede to try and get Dowser above this Dowser? This is turning things around for Oppo, and is the real problem. So let's go find a solution to that problem. Neither of those qualify. Gosh, we're playing two Spinal Centipedes. This is not my best Dimir deck, that's for sure. And we're going to wait and draw cards here. It both threatens counter magic, makes us look like maybe we have a counter spell. Ooh, all the Dowsers. Alright, we need to get up in the air. I think we knew that anyway. Well, we can disappear it again at least, but that's not too great. We'll throw this out. And we got to decide when to throw this back. I think if it gets one more... If it stays a 2-2, I think we'll take it one more turn. Or we can just recognize that we're not going to win this game. It's like their deck is like ours, except way better. Now, since they can't recast it, we'll go ahead and send it back. Too bad we can't use that to get the bug right out of their hand, but it's not going to matter. We need More than we're finding, I'll say that. Looking grim. I think our outs here are to find a Bartizan Bats for the Predator and a removal spell for the Spybug. This one feels particularly weak. Like, what do we have in here we're super happy about? We've got the Disinfo campaign to get going. But the deck is really lacking in oomph. It's really... like, we have a lot riding on our own Spybug, for example. Well, here I am in the wrong place. Over here. Back over here. Pretty super dead. Haha. Gotcha. Are we just dead yet, Oppo? I've moved on. I'm like setting up for the future. Insult to injury with the final island. How do you learn lessons without a coach? You can't really, unless you're going to self-coach and try to identify things. But kind of the whole point of a coach is to help identify the things you're doing wrong and correct them. And without the ability to hire a coach specifically, you just need to consume content. Listen to limited resources. Listen to... the other, if we're talking about limited here, you know, there are other limited podcasts you can turn to, and lots of draft videos, and lots of high-level streamers, and me, you know? I prefer, like, a good Dimir control deck is my favorite deck in both Guilds and Allegiance. That being said, I think Allegiance is the better overall format, but this, what we're doing right now, although ideally with a better deck, is exactly what I want to be doing. Actually going to Mesmerist here. This sets us up for turn 3 campaign and if we get land, turn 4 Disappearance and Spybug. I try to bring it. Hey, we got our 4th land. We could also just go Dimir Locket into Spybug since there's nothing to bounce. Sounds good. Start with this, see if they interact at all. No. Yeah, so we'll go Locket into Spybug. I just don't think they've found all their land yet. This black could be a splash. but I don't know what they've got going on. I don't fully understand. Looks like 5-color nonsense. And I say that in the nicest way possible. Big fan of 5-color nonsense. Well, they need to do something for us to do something, so... Although maybe we crack the locket here, if they don't do anything. If they cast something big, we'll just go ahead and Price of Fame it. That does not qualify as anything that can be Price of Famed. All right, not what I was expecting to do. Let's see, they fight though, right? Yeah, so we'll just kill it. End round. Yeah, just want to make sure it was actual fight and didn't just do like last known damage or something like that. We'll keep that. If not that, I definitely would have saved it. It was definitely worth saving. But this way, we get to keep it out. I could play the Centipede, but the Spybug is so critical to our game plan, and bouncing the Disinfo campaign so good, I'm going to go ahead and let Oppo do what they're going to do, and then respond to that. I don't think they'll probably attack here, which is... He's going to bounce it, but I don't even know why I should. Like, he can't do anything to us. I'm going to... Alright. Just because it bounces this, makes this bigger, we're going to do it anyway, even though we had a good attack without the bounce. Throw that back on the pile. I'm gonna play the Imp and keep the Disappearance up again. I think that should give us the straightforward win here. Yeah, maybe they thought they could block it. That makes some sense. Alright, good game. Okay, got a win for the record. What are some bad plans to avoid for newer players? Well, the example of a control Boros is an example of understanding what the general plans of the decks are in the format, and then a bad plan would be drafting anything that doesn't fit into a known plan for that kind of deck. I mean, you get into bad plans to avoid for newer players. I think the things that leap out to me are life gain and auras. Life gain and auras tend... I mean, how new are we talking? Like, most players after a bit start to learn the risks involved in auras and the lack of oomph involved in a straight life gain spell. But I think the newer players tend to fall for that stuff. But then, beyond that, it's like Fancy Play Syndrome. I would say is kind of your low mid-level common mistake, or traps that you come up with. It's kind of where the vanilla test comes from. Just reminding people to get back to the basics and study the basics first. I mean, people will get really excited about a magic Rube Goldberg device for gaining 4 life or whatever, or drawing 2 cards, So it's like, oh, if I play this enchantment and then do these 3 other things, I get 2 life and 2 cards. And it's like, well, that's not even a good card, So what I'm getting at there is like, best case scenario mentality on a given card, and then making a plan around it that's actually not very good because it's actually not a great build around. So misevaluating build arounds, I guess, would be another newer player trap. Original Supa. Lifelink is not broken. Incidental life gain is fine. What I'm talking about, there are newer players who will play a spell that says white and a 1 sorcery, gain 5 life. So that's just terrible. Yeah, we'll keep this. It's kind of crappy, but a lot of our cards are crappy, so I don't know what I'm expecting. And the thing is, lifelink is only good even against certain decks. Lifelink against Boros is great. I really don't care if someone plays lifelink against this deck. Like, either we're going to win because we successfully take over the game and get you down from 50 to 0 before we die, or we're going to lose, and your life total really doesn't matter. Or at the very least, using resources to change it doesn't really matter. Here we're going to offer the Child of Night. Great. Happy they'll take it. And then we'll play Locket into Pilfering Imp. This gives us our blue mana, accelerates us, and uses all our mana. So that was we'd like to just draw a land with the blue mana symbol on it, but barring that, this could be worse. We could get them, but they seem to be missing some red. At least I think we're playing both of these cards, so maybe they're a Dimir as well. But this is a more Dimir Izzet card than this is. We'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and put as much power as we can get on the board here while they're color screwed. Don't go after my hand now. I want to go after yours next. It's not a good plan because it's 5 mana that doesn't actually interact with your opponent's stuff. So if you quadrant theory that, you know that Street Riot, when you're behind, is pretty terrible. It does increase the power of your potential blockers, so it's not worthless, but it requires a lot of setup. And Street Riot is doing things for 5 mana clunkily that something like Wave, what's the Wave card's name so we can look it up? The whatever Cosmotronic Wave. Like in a format where Cosmotronic Wave is at common, you just don't need Street Riot as your plan. Cosmotronic Wave should be your plan if that's the kind of plan you need. So where are we at? We're on my turn. They have. Let's take a look at what's in their hand now. Severed Strand, Notion Rain. We'll get rid of their Notion Rain, so they can't draw out of this. Now seeing what we see here, I'll go ahead and kill the child. That's right, I'm a child killer. And get in. If you had a Boros deck that, let's see, what are we? I like the pass wall for getting through. But Dowser's just big, and I think we'll do that fine. I think we just need to get rid of the pass wall here. No, we don't really have any Dimir bombs. And I mean, we have a disinformation campaign. That's kind of our best card. I'm not going to offer that trade when we can play this Mesmerist and have clean attacks next turn. Mesmerist will shrink this down to a 1-2, and then the Centipede can get through it. All right, we found our 5th land as well, which is no joke. We could even we could start on a Deadly Visit, just Deadly Visit the Centipede, and then we just attack and do an 0-4. But then the 0-4 can actually successfully block here. So let's start with, well, if we do this, then they just get to eat. Yeah, maybe we don't have a great attack yet. I'm going to pass and play the Dowser. This may prompt them to use this Severed Strands to get rid of the Dowser, in which case they'll be down a creature, and then our Deadly Visit plan has more teeth. Or the Mesmerist Centipede plan, at least. Yeah, it's funny, Steak, right? I mean, nobody at the start of this format saw the Dowser and was like, oh, this is going to be a staple playable for the Dimir deck. It just looked like the kind of thing that you're never going to play. But it has had just the right stats to be very serviceable for just that, the black decks in this format. I was going to say just that deck, but it's not even true. It works in Golgari fine as well. Although Golgari tends to have just bigger stuff on its own. It has the green creatures. This could be a counterspell waiting for us, but let's make him have it. Get rid of that, keep the price. We don't really need land, so we'll just shove it away. And yeah, as I say, because you inevitably get some land anyway, so there's no need to keep any. Once you can cast everything in your deck, just let your card drawing find your land, whether you want it or not. All right. Got 2 wins now. Pretty good. It's gotten really chilly. I'm going to throw up the heat, and I'm going to get another beverage, and then we'll play some more. I'm going to run you an ad just because it's only going to take about 30 seconds. I'll be back in 30 seconds with a warmer house and a beverage, okay? So hang with me. Be right back. Thanks for the follow, Galaxy Bane. This resembles a curve out. We'll take it. Oppo has mulled to 6. Cool. Perfect land to draw there. Now the curve out is truly complete if they play anything worth taking down or visiting, but what we want is something more to do on 4 and 5 besides use our premium removal. Hey NYC, glad you're hanging out with us, and welcome to the wonderful world of drafting. It's awesome. Glad you're checking it out. So your question, do you give your thoughts on why you draft the cards you do before you start playing, or do you go right into the gameplay? I give my thoughts on the cards we're drafting as we're drafting them. If you catch me in the morning, or you can go to the video log, the video on demand videos. I also have a YouTube channel now. You can see lots of backlog content. Let's see, this is blocks or becomes blocked, so we can't do anything about that. Mesmerist and Bounce. I think both of those can actually be good here. Let's see, we're up against Is It? Yeah, we'll keep both of these. What's our plan? You know, we're a controlling deck, but we're against an Is It deck that's getting off to a slow start. Doesn't necessarily change anything for us, but with the Mesmerist and Disappearance and Takedown, you know, we have some tricks to go along with what we're doing here. Although maybe for here we just take it down and go. I think this is a fine play. We're going to tap the 2/1 and kill the big thing. Get in for some lifelink. Maybe we'll leave the Informant back. I was willing to do that because the Cyclops is a pretty important card for a good Is It deck. And as I was struggling to get that word out, I was saying, oh look, they have Dazzling, because again, it was the only thing here that would really matter. I'm fine for them to effectively... I mean, they get to Surveil too, so they're going to help the quality of the top of their library, but did not mind Oppo using up a card there. Yeah, I stream Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific. Come on, Crater Maker, get rid of that pesky child. Well, we don't have a good attack here, but we can play a Mesmerist, and we have a Disappearance that we can use to save something if they try to crater it, or bounce something at the end of their turn if we feel that's the right play. But we still just want to control this. That's right. Child killing is rampant in this format. Bargent. Too bad we don't have a Dazzling Lights, but we can... I could disappear before combat, but I'm more interested in letting them figure out if they want to find an attack here at all. Interesting. Wow, we got all sorts of choices. I don't like this attack from Oppo at all. I think we're going to wreck him quite badly. because we just block like this. And for fun, send that back. Cool. Notion Rain is just about perfect here. And don't love that centipede, but it's not a land, so I'm going to keep it. And we can cast it right now, at least. Goblin trades with the centipede, which then makes the informant a 2/5, which isn't bad. We could also play the Dowser pre. And if the centipede is blocked, the Dowser can become pretty massive. But in general, I think I would want to spread around my power and toughness rather than put it all into the Dowser. Or maybe let's play the Spy Bug, and then it can go on the Spy Bug. They've got something up their sleeve, though, which we should be thinking about at least. But I like what's going on in our hand enough that I almost don't care what... Oop, I didn't mean to hit no attacks, though. I almost don't care what happens to these creatures. But I did mean to attack there, so we'll see. Control decks are more forgiving on punts like that. Boros deck clicks the wrong thing and could end their game. For us, we're still just playing the control game, so it didn't even matter that much that we didn't get an attack in. Let's try and actually attack this time. We could deadly visit the thing, but part of what I'm smelling here is some counter magic. Alright, it actually made it on. I wasn't sure it would. This getting countered? Probably this getting countered. No! Oppo, what are you doing? You got something over there. Are you going to draw 2 here? What is Oppo doing? They had all these pauses, even with no creatures out, so they got instants over there, but found none of them they could use in that spot? Very confusing. I think that's worthy of a deadly visit. Or a Price of Fame. We'll play the more expensive one that we want to do on our main phase anyway. But I guess they didn't have... If it was combat tricks, why didn't they use them to try and win that combat, I guess, is what I'm saying. And then... So underwhelming right now, but again, it's not a land. I'm going to take it because it does help our game plan. I think, man, really the question I have, I'm not sure about things like crab on top. The reason you keep it on top is that you don't want to find something as useless as a land, and you're just happy to have a spell to cast. We have some spells we can cast, and really this is one of the weaker spells in our deck right now, so maybe it's worth risking some land to try and find some better support. Sure. Defensive Sonic Assault, always lovely to see. I think it's easier to go aggro in RNA because Orzhov has an aggro deck, Rakdos has an aggro deck, and even, I mean, you can say Gruul is an aggro deck in some ways. Let's not make that mistake again there, Spain. So by that count, I think there's just more ways to go aggro in, more quality ways to go aggro in RNA. We'll add 3 power. Gets around Disdainful Stroke. They need a lot of removal here. I don't think that's going to get it done. All right. I think we started on a loss, but have managed to knock out 3 cents. I'm going to go for one more here. Let's see if we can get... I'm going to have to log off soon, but we're 1 win away from leveling up our rank. So let's see. Let's at least do that. See if we can get a win here and rank up. Yeah, it doesn't matter too much to me, but it matters enough. I'm enough of a spike that I like to see my rank go up. It's just I'm honest with myself that I can't really focus on rank when I'm playing multiple accounts. If rank matters to you, you need to focus on one account. Three land opener. And we'll keep it. How much win percentage do you feel you lose by playing casually or when tired? Well, it's hard to quantify. Certainly goes down. Yeah, we got some good cards in hand, but no 2-drop, unfortunately. Let's see if we can... And disinfo is that it's worst against Boros, but we'll see what we can do here. Artful Takedown, Price of Fame, and Deadly Visit, and Dazzling Lights are all going to do good work here. Cool, Ryan. Thanks for mentioning that. Let us know when they do. Yes. You may have to find a subscribers can post links, so if you're a subscriber, you can do it. If not, you're going to need to get that link to somebody else. Everybody subscribe, then you too can post links to my stream. So right now it's like the big benefit. Okay. Oh, we don't want to go to attackers. We want to go ahead and get this taken care of. We're going to tap and kill if we can. Should be able to. They're pretty weak creatures here. And we'll just Deadly Visit the Hammer Dropper. I guess we could have Price of Fame and then cast Pilfering Imp. I will take the counter magic. A campaign. And we get an imp here, and then we have both Unexplained and Dazzling. They're both good for this situation, but Dazzling is what we really want to do. Well, let's see if they do anything. If they try to take the imp out. Nope, they're not going to try and take the imp out. So great, we have all of our tricks available to us. In this case, it's just going to be a simple eat the recruit. And a simple get rid of that land. God, I love two lands off the top in a surveil. Feels so powerful. You're a superstar, PM Barrett. Yeah, we'll risk it, although we don't want to do it with 2 islands. We want to do it this way. Nice. And then we'll play this, and then we have the cover up and disappearance and price all at instant speed. And we threaten to trade with the Skyline Scout just straight up, so we'll just sit back. So block here, see what they do. I think I'm just going to then Price of Fame the Halberdier. Wow, look at that. Jeez. We've effectively drawn like 4 cards off of the surveilling away of lands. Why are they playing their land when they have a direct current in hand? Not sure. But, oh, I guess they're playing it because we have different disinfo. They know exactly what they're doing. I'm the one being silly. Let's start with disinfo, and then we have cover up behind. Play that. Yeah, I guess we're taking 2. I want to obviously keep my cover up around. Fort Sport, what you got? Nothing. All right. We've got more land. Let's start with an Ocean Rain then. And we'll keep both of those. Yeah. It's probably just a land here. Oh, lava coil, but we didn't present them with any targets. Nice. So could have rat burgled it away as well. Kind of don't want to go to 6. I think we'll disappear. No, maybe. It'd be pretty dumb if we lost due to Inescapable Blaze, because we didn't manage our life total at 8. But they have the direct current, so it's not like... I mean, we're kind of dead to Inescapable Blaze anyway. That actually makes me feel better. We're going to go ahead and go to... let's play the rat, though. I'm going to play the rat. Maybe you don't need to play anything. They just have this, and if I play it, they'll use the spy bug on it. They're not going to leave anything for the rats anyway, though, so we'll just play the rat. No value rat. Well, you get a little value from rat, and That, of course, is this.
Some say I never heard of ya, a rap burglar.
That's true. We could have combined Disappearance and Rat to get rid of any threat we wanted, really. It's a good point. We can still kind of do that, though, with Disinfo Campaign. I mean, we can do that now, really. Let's just do that now. All the lands surveilled away. I should have done it with the bug out, though. I got a little hasty because I was excited about the play, but the bug should definitely be a 2/2. Hey, look, the bug gets to be a 2/2 anyway. Although, then they just get, again, they get to direct current it. We do need to get them dead, too, because we're at a virtual 2. I mean, that's one way to do it, I suppose, is to force them... to deal with it. But if we keep cover up, then we're not even at a virtual 2. I want to attack, but I suppose we should be patient. I want to be really silly to lose to a big play from them here when we have tools. And we have another Unexplained Disappearance Disinfo tool. And now we can play Bartizan Bats and actually have the counter spell. And actually, we can play the Spy Bug and have it. So yeah, we'll do Spy Bug and Bats, and then oh, we're fine because we're gonna shuffle 4 of them back in. They're gonna be good things, and then we'll get there. I think we will. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're gonna keep all this back. Oh, thanks, Ubermensch. I always love recording with Marsh, for sure. We're gonna allow that, and we'll counter the direct current. Oh, they can't direct current, so we're just gonna bounce that and make him pitch it at the end of the turn. This might just inspire a concession. Ooh, definitely leaving that on. Yep. Alright. We did it, chat. Look at it. We're something else. We are platinum. We're platinum. Woohoo! Platinum. Alright, one more. Maybe I'm just going to ride this event out. Let's finish this event. Let's finish this event, whatever. If I stop streaming, I have to go do adulting things, so... let's keep streaming. Yes, we can take a look at my decks after this if you want to see what my grinding tools are. But the main ones are mono blue and mono red. You can make high quality mono blue and mono red standard decks for very few wild cards. And then the two of those, between a good mono red deck, a good mono blue deck, and a medium mono white deck, I feel like I have all the grinding tools I need. Then I have some weird ones that sometimes is just the situation forces on me. I had a situation where I had a 500 gold cast creature spells quest that I did not want to complete. And I had I had cast white spells at 750 and I had cast black spells at 750. So I needed to complete one of those two without completing the cast 25 creature spells or whatever it is. So I built a no creature white black control deck and got my 4 wins with it and was able to complete 750s without completing the one remaining 500. So that was a funny story of that kind of angling. So what are we playing here? I'm gonna play the Child of Night. Because when you're grinding gold, I have a spiel on your question, Moltrack, but I'm going to wait till the end of this game. Ask me again after this game is over, and I'll give you the overview on quest management from the quest scene itself. The other version is you can go read my article. No? I don't know what it's called. CFB? Yeah, so that has some extra detail on it, but the Ryan MTG summarizes it in a reasonable sentence, so you can try to roll that 500 into a 750 the next day. Well, shoot. Can't really attack into that. Didn't find land. Need to find land, so actually I'm going to take a hit here. I mean, take an 0 for 1 basically to search for land. Torturous. Well, we'll make you get rid of cards then.
Some say I never heard of ya, a rap burglar.
And now, at least with 3 total power, we threaten to trade with the Blade. Although, actually, what am I saying? They're going to attack with a Mesmerist, and then no such trades will be available to us. But they're not attacking for some reason. I would have snapped that. I guess we get to trade the rat for a Mesmerist if they do that, but that, I don't know, that seems okay. And since they're not seeming too interested in attacking, let's go ahead and campaign while we can actually get a card out of their hand and hopefully find some more land for us. Sure thing, Wermensch. Glad you could hang out. Yeah, I mean, I might do it, but you got the basic story. Spend wild cards on mono red and mono blue, and then build the best monos of whatever you can to round out your monocolored deck suite. Now they'll get in a solid attack here, but boy, we just need to. We have 0 power. Do we throw the rat in front of something is the real question. And I'm going to say no. We go to 10. Can we go to 10? What's our plan next turn? We... Artful Takedown next turn? Yeah, I'm going to no blocks, and hopefully we can Artful Takedown next turn. Oh, come on, deck. We're going to leave them all back to try and make trouble for the Mesmerists. If If you remove any 2 random cards from our hand and replace them with a swamp and an island, I think we'd be doing great. We have one of our most powerful cards. We just can't leverage it without mana. Oh, we're definitely putting that back in the hand. Not a big deal at all. And as for discarding, I don't think we're going to be having time to really cover up here. We need to be proactive from here. Well, we get to trade, at the very least, a Mesmerist for a Centipede. Wow, they're giving us both. Okay. Yeah, we'll happily take this. Throw this here, try to get some life back. And we even found a swamp. How nice to find a swamp. And with that life bump, I'm going to campaign again. Campaign Imp. Apparently we need to at every step because we're almost halfway through our library. We have 4 total lands, leaving us 13 lands waiting for us in these 22 cards. That's something else. We got a lot of lands coming. Probably need to do bats plus takedown or something to take care of this gargoyle, or we could even do this. Let's send in either block. I'm going to use the takedown to finish it off, and if not, we'll throw the bats in the air and try to do a 2-turn sequence on the takedown. So either we're taking down this turn, or we're going to do bats plus dazzling to try and eat the Darkblade. But we'll take this. We can't dazzle to save it, or we would consider that. Let's see. If we... well... we could. If we do it all, we could save it. If we think that's important. I think we have enough card advantage that it's actually worth it. Let's do that. See ya, Big. That all looks good. We'll keep both of those. If they specifically get a Surveil off here, and it allows them to draw a card, that might help, but I think they're in serious trouble now. I'm gonna start here. And yeah, we'll just do this. I could have waited and we could have done that trick, but again, I think we're fine just pressing our advantage here until we win the game off of it. At least I feel with Dimir, I frequently have outs when I'm in a bad situation, whereas like with Boros, I just feel like I'm in a bad situation and I have no outs. This might even get countered now, we'll see. Do your worst. I suppose we could have imped first, but it's probably just a land. Nope. Krull Swarm, okay. And we'll go ahead and deadweight. Looking steady. Steady as she goes here. Alright, that's less steady. Can we beat that? How do we beat that? We need our bounce trick. 7 mana, we get to cast these 2 at least. And they can't really attack with the Whisperer. We also have a pass wall. We can find pass wall. Alright, they're starting the London announcement. We'll learn some things about London. London magic, that is. Unfortunately, we don't have the cover-up to get stuff back because we pitched that earlier. Just gonna have to overwhelm them with bodies, I think. And we'll save this and try and do a big attack next turn. And just hope to attrition them down. If they find a creature, they might be able to get the Kroll Swarm back. And that's annoying, because 4, 5, 6, 7... Oh, they can't pitch and cast, so that's good, at least. Now we can disinfo and dowser, even. Okay, they eat our biggest thing. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and go to 2. Yeah, I think we got this. But yeah, I do remember that it's on a pre-release weekend, which was off-putting to many. Alright, they gotta have a lot to get out of this. I mean, they have this... I don't even know what they could have. And they didn't have any. Alright, I'd said we'd finish, and we will, but I've been drinking so much soda I need to take another bio break, so I'm going to give you the BRB screen, give you a short song, and go take care of that while you listen to some Talking Heads. We're going first. Bit of a bummer. We only have we have the 9 blue sources. 2 turns to draw 9 out of 33, and then 9 out of 32. Just on the edge, but I'm going to mulligan this. I want land, but I'm going to keep that. I think it's worth it. All right, found land. Got lucky there. We're going to actually go ahead and... let me make sure it's doing this right. We'll do it... It's not like we can cast the weight anyway. I don't know why I care. We're doing this. Whoa. Chose not to use the Justice Strike on my Spy Bug in response. Why? Because they thought we might take something else. This is a problem deck. We have a Deadly Visit to punish the Vigil. We have a Dead Weight to punish anything with 2. So we can kill like this. So I think we do just take the Justice Strike, and... Although, if they use the Justice Strike on the Spy Bug, that's actually, like, we don't even have a way to make the Spy Bug big very soon, so maybe we tempt them into that and actually just say, like, you can't have your Sky Knight Legionnaire next turn. I actually think I like that better. Interesting. Interesting. I was trying to figure out where they were going with that test. So Ryan MTG says the test will be at London. Each time you mulligan, you draw 7, but then when you decide to keep, you put N cards from your hand on the bottom of your library, where N is how many times you mulliganed. Interesting. Okay, this is good too. We're not blocking, so we're attacking. But we're really hoping they find a land, go for the Vigil, and we punish them for it. A little sweet, sweet justice for the home team. No, they're not that bold, and I understand. I wouldn't be either. All right, what are we going to go shields down on here? I'm going to attack with the Spy Bug because we're not going to block with it. And I'm going to go full shields down and play the Crab. Well, we could bounce that. We still don't have anything. You know, they get this right Justice Strike, but it's still not going to do a lot for them here. So I'm going to just let this happen. We could save the bug, but we'll get it back. We'll cast our counterspell later and shuffle it back in if we feel like that's our win percentage or win condition. And I'll make the Crab here because then if they get a land and go for the Bargent, then they gotta let us eat the Bargent at the very least. And then we have lots of follow-up plays. If they go for the Vigil while shields are down, they may be tempted to do that. Then we have 2 great plays after that with Deadly Visit and Unexplained Disappearance. Interesting. Banneret. Well, that's going to eat a dead weight. Yep, we're going to have it eat the dead weight right now, even though we have takedown. Throw the dead weight on the creature that we'll know it will succeed on. And then we're back in the same spot where at some point they have to decide to use this Vigil. But I suppose it makes sense to not put it on, because they just, in that case, they just get a 4/3 that can't get through the crab anyway. So really the crab is just doing such amazing work that Oppo has no plays. Yeah, I like it better than the Scry rule. It's a good... I was in the discussions on whether to implement the Scry mulligan, and the no camp... Nobody in the no camp was saying that it didn't make for... It didn't do some work on the problem of Magic games that aren't actually games because of mana problems. But it's an elegance thing. There's a lot of confusing things about Magic, and when now you're trying to explain to a new player how the mulligan system works, it's again more confusing stuff. So a lot of the problem I heard in the building with the current mulligan rule was the lack of elegance, and this does do a similar job while providing much greater elegance and better hands. You know, a random 6 is one thing. 6 of your 7 is another, right? It's like brainstorm versus card draw. So I'm excited about that. I think that's a good change. Nothing here needs to die. We're just going to be patient and see if we can outlast Boros here. Eventually they're going to get this Swath Cutter Giant down, and that's what will probably eat a Deadly Visit. No, it's like the way I understand it from what Ryan has said here, Igrak, is that you mulligan is normal, and decide to, but you mulligan back up to 7, and when you decide to keep, you then choose which cards to put on the bottom of your library. So it's like getting to craft your mulligan to 5 from a fresh 7, for example. I mean, I could kill that too, but now I think what I expect from Oppo is for this Vigil to go onto it. So we're going to be patient again and see what tricks they're going to try with this Vindicator. Yeah, well, it's more elegant, and it actually does more to improve. It successfully improves. Let's see, that's +2. Yeah, so you can let it resolve even. This is more like it. Punishing the aura users. I want to punish the aura users. And people who try to sell me on the auras, like I even played one I played one of the +2/+2 can't block aura in my super low down Boros deck that I played last night off stream. Still felt really uncomfortable whenever I had to deploy it and hope that it was not going to be answered. Yeah, the new Scry rule is being tested at the London, I just want to call them Pro Tours, Mythic Championship, the London MC London. So Torch Courier does allow Swath Cutter to get in one attack before we can visit it, but we have the life total to survive that, and we could even unexplained disappear it to set them back if we want to. What is our win condition? You know, our plan here is really just to grind out card advantage until we can find our pass wall and win through a pass wall adept, really. Not the most amazing plan, but it's a plan. So it looks like Oppo may be trying to get us to eat the crab only to then Justice Strike it. If they... hopefully they let this damage happen first and then Justice Strike it. They didn't, so... now I gotta ask myself if we are willing to trade the Sergeant for the crab, or the crab for the Sergeant and the Justice Strike, given the Deadly Visit and the 18 life. And given the Deadly Visit, the 18 life, and the Unexplained Disappearance, I am actually going to go ahead and take this trade. Well, I'm not impressed by these cards. But we get both Unexplained Disappearance and Deadly Visit next turn. Ooh, we're going to do Notion Rain, though. There's the pass wall we do want. We'll take that. Okay, I feel better now. We're going to do a pass wall disappearance turn. I'm assuming Oppo, if they find a land, is going to make the giant and try to give it haste. And if they don't find a land, we may just see what they want to do here. If they pump the challenger... if they just move to combat, we may bounce the challenger. They didn't snap play a land here. If we let them attack, they've got... I think we just have to let them attack, though. We're going to let them attack. They get to mentor something, but we get to eat something. And we can eventually just disappear that as well. Like, get rid of these... yeah, so now we'll disappear this. It seems fine to me. Ooh, Dazzling is real good against the Mentor stuff. This doesn't have Mentor, does it? No, just Vigilance. War of the Spark will bring a new mechanic to the game. I wonder what it is. I don't know what... that's weird that they would advertise that way, given how R&D is always talking about... I mean, every set has tons of new mechanics. Mechanic is a pretty broad term when it comes to game design, so... not sure exactly what they mean by that, but that's interesting. We will operate at instant speed here. We've got Dazzling Lights and Price of Fame, both at instant speed, so... no need to run out the Deadly Visit yet. Yeah, so when they say a new mechanic as a marketing initiative, I don't even know what they mean. Every set has new mechanics, so yeah, we'll see what they mean by that. But they probably mean something, a big new ongoing mechanic in the, you know, in the Planeswalker vein, that kind of thing. I do know some stuff about War of the Spark. I think it's the last set that I took the rare poll on at WotC. R&D sends out a poll to everybody who works at Wizards, asking them to rate what they think of the current crop of rares in whatever set is being worked on. And R&D uses that info to modify their rares. All right, as expected, so we get this. The Torch Courier is going to sack. Do it, Torch Courier. This is going to be good. So good. And then we are just going to price this. Oh yeah, I know what the crazy element is. The crazy element that has never been tried before, I do know about. Dowser seems great here. We'll keep that and ship the rest. And here we're going to dazzle. We know the Dowser's coming, but we'll dazzle the Ornery Goblin and eat it. And then take 4? We can take 4. Do we want the Mesmerist? What is the Mesmerist doing for us? It's blocking like the Courier. Now we don't really want the Mesmerist. Yeah, at this point, every set and block includes a dual color card or two. Maybe there's some... I think even like maybe an artifact block wouldn't, because they would want to just stay away from that. But gold is so popular and so at the heart of Magic and the color pie and explaining why things are the way they are that gold is a really strong component in basically every set now. Like the gold uncommons that kind of define the bones of Limited are important that way. Okay, we are stable. We are stable. Stable with a removal backup. That's a pretty good draw for them, but we still get to eat it with the Dowser. And can we take 5? It's a little uncomfortable to take 5, but we can in the name of chomping up the Sergeant. If they let us untap, we just get to visit it. If they attack, we get to eat one and then visit the other. Interesting. What's more important to visit? The Sergeant or the Challenger? I feel like the Challenger actually is now, because the Child actually gives us something to trade with the Bargent, even if they deal with the Dowser, whereas the Challenger can get more and more difficult to deal with, and it's like, Yeah, I'm gonna kill the Challenger, the Mentor creature with the bigger butt. That's how I'm gonna play this. Keep that. Child of Night is cool with pass wall. Assuming we stay stable through the next turn, we can start sending in the child. We can play this and make the child unblockable and get our life total up here. We will look first and unblock second. 14 cards. But it's an effective 18 cards because one of them is the counter spell that will shuffle 4 things back. Cover up. I don't even know if we want Disinfo Campaign. It's not bad for us to draw cards with, but not great either. We'll keep digging. Do that 10 more times, and we win with 2 cards in our library. Or 1 card. You'd think the people of Ravnica would know better than to F with dowsers. That's nice to have in our back pocket. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and, since we have this in our back pocket, let's start sending in the dowser. Try to shorten this clock. I'm not quite bold enough to send the child as well. I think I want everything else back on D. Yeah, Stranger Colin, we were talking about that in here, and I like it. I think it's an improvement on the current rule. It makes mulliganing even less punishing than the scry rule did, while being more elegant. So I like it for those reasons. Less punishing, more elegant, thumbs up. Wonder who came up with that. I'll have to reach out to R&D and see who proposed that one, because it's a good one. The new mulligan rule is mulligan up to 7 each time. And then whenever you decide to keep, you put N cards on the bottom of your library, where N is the number of times that you mulliganed. So you get to look at a full 7 and decide which of them you're going to remove from your hand, which is going to be very good for making these hands more playable feeling. Yeah, I don't think you're going to like how this works out. Like, that's a weird attack. You just get to do this and this. I guess they're counting on this being able to get it done. Yeah, that is an interesting point about Grenzo. I mean, it's not going to be so crazy for it, but it's a good point. Like, you know, putting something on the bottom through. I mean, I guess you were doing that on scrying anyway. Like, it's just it's a little more likely to be able to get where you want. Okay, how are we going to win this game? Are we going to keep attacking? I think. Here's how I think we win this game. We're going to win this game by disappearing the Torch Courier once it hits 4/4, and double blocking the Hammer Dropper, and accepting the pass wall is going to die, but that it's worth it. If they drew something to disrupt this plan, darn it. But I think this is a good plan. And we don't have to disappear until we know if they've drawn anything to disrupt the dead Hammer Dropper side of this plan. So let's see if they do anything here. Doesn't look like they have anything, so we are going to disappear, save the damage. And definitely keep the bats. That seems like they'll get it done in the air. I will only attack with the Dowser because the Torch Courier gives quasi-haste to anything they draw, and we may need a chump. And I don't want that chump to be our bats. Yes, I get that you're joking, Sunset, but it was worth thinking about. Like that, I mean, that's the kind of thing you do have. Like when you propose something like this in R&D, it does get picked apart that way. Like, does it matter? Is it going to have an effect on this? And all right, sorry, Parzival. Gonna have to go find that Easter egg somewhere else. Well, we started off on 1 loss, and we have won 6 in a row since, so obviously we just got to keep it going. And I need this to be accurate. How about 6-1? I'm already happy with 6 wins. I thought this was a fairly mediocre Dimir deck. We called it Dimir. 3 land opener. Looks good. Well, we'll try and start racing. MVP has probably been Disinfo Campaign. I mean, MVP has been decent draws, you know? In some cases, it's been bad opponents have been the MVP. Well, yeah, Dowser has been good. Crab has been good. Crab proved critical to buying us the time to win in at least one of our matches. Can we afford to disinfo here? Can we afford not to? We disinfo, we go to 12. And then we untap with 4 lands and have maybe Pass Wall and something, or Dimir Informant. Feels pretty rough, but if we play the Informant, then we're hoping that it survives to hold back the Goblin, and then we only go to 14. But we miss a trigger on the Disinfo Campaign and potentially only get them for 1 card. Oh, this is a tight one. I'm gonna go with Campaign though. Oof. How much damage did I say we were taking? That's a lot. That's a lot. I'm not going to lie. Going down to 10 here is rough. I'm going to take the Informant here, because next turn we get Centipede plus Pass Wall. And hopefully Informant... Ooh, let's see. Probably going to need the Unexplained Disappearance just to not die, so we'll keep that. And probably going to do a chump here even. if they attack with everything, Mesmerist, the Boar, Informant, the Goblin, and except the Legionnaire. If they only attack with a Legionnaire, that's exact. Oh, thank you. Oh, that is great to see. That is what we wanted to see. Huge that was what happened. Now we get another card out of their hand. We risk going into, again, Inescapable Blaze range here, but I think we have to. We're not going to beat Inescapable Blaze. What we want to do is see them only attack with the Legionnaire again. And ideally, play like dump their hand. If they dump their hand... Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to take the damage. We're just going to go ahead and do it this way. This means that they know the discard is coming, but I want to save that life, and we're going to get something from them no matter what here. So you tell me what, Oppo. Campaign into Centipede seems correct here. And I may have to use Notion Rain next turn to try and find an answer up top for this Legionnaire that's going to be more and more annoying as our life total dwindles. What did they keep? They must have just drawn the land or they would have pitched it, so they've got a good spell in hand. I played a little bit of Battle Bond, not much. There you go. I said we couldn't play around that. So what are you going to do? All right, rubber match. We're at the maximum 6-2. It's got to break to 7-2 or 6-3. One of the outcomes. I like Battle Bond more than I thought I would, but I'd still rather just play by myself, if that makes sense. Magic is such a complicated game that it's difficult for me to process a board state between two players and come up with decisions for what I can do for my own self. Having to reach consensus with another player and also the boards being doubly complicated just kind of turned me off of multiplayer, of 4+ player Magic. Not great, but we're going to keep. Oh, I found a 2. Not bad, not bad.
Some say I never heard of ya, a rap burglar.
No, I'm not much of a Commander player. I have figured, like, the way I like playing Commander, I have a deck, I haven't even finished it yet, but if I ever get invited and intend to go play Commander again, I think I'll finish this deck. But it is a red-blue deck that... in which I did a gatherer search or a magic card search for the rules text. Each player and all players are like basically things that affect all players. And then I just filled up the deck with, it doesn't even have win conditions, it just has things that affect all players. And the idea of the deck is that I'm not even trying to win, I'm just trying to mess with the Commander game in interesting ways. And maybe this is a thing that helps you, so you want to save me. Maybe it's a thing that is so annoying to you, you want to kill me. But if I approach Commander without even trying to think of it as something I'm trying to win, I actually think I would enjoy it a lot more. I guess we'll take the bats, see if that can get it done up top. Ah, I didn't mean to do that. That was just hasty play. But I actually don't mind this. We only lose the rat, and I don't mind making the bats bigger. And we get crab plus imp. Yeah, it's probably, somebody was asking about that yesterday, whether, like, given the misclick I just did, would you rather devastate people, your players, with accidental attack all misclicks, or accidental I failed to make any attacks misclicks? And probably I failed to make any attacks misclicks are less soul-crushing than the I accidentally suicided my dudes in, you know? Well, now we're going to just take a look here. See if they got anything threatening to deal with the bat. This looks like the big one. And we just have to play around ionize, and I guess that means they get to snare it and ionize it, but we can't let them keep this, right? It's not very good yet. It doesn't do anything yet. Maybe we don't need to worry about the thing that... Well, it does something. I guess it does something. So we'll get rid of it before it gets good. Right now, bats is like a 4-turn clock. And their plan is going to be to snare it and then counter it. So I'm going to go ahead and play the adept, because if they, you know, go ahead and counter it. You know, I want you to. All right, that's fine. I'd rather be sure that the bats that currently can't be stopped by anything in their hand get to return safely to the battlefield once they snare it. Now we have more attacks, since... oh, no, we don't really, because they have +3, +0, and first strike right there visible to us. But I expect the bats get bounced now. Maybe they're patiently looking for removal. But I'd be surprised if we don't see the bats sent home here. Ha, that's pretty good. Because they can cast this, make this first strike, and make a, 6/1 first striker. Now we got to find some other stuff. I guess we'll start on the Notion Rain, but why do it that way, auto tap? Yeah. Man, I have got to use the bathroom again. I'll be right back. Too much coffee and soda today. All right, where we're at? We're on cover up. Oh, shoot. our big plan. Maybe we dead weight. No, that doesn't work. Build the wall. Do you have a win condition, or is getting them to concede your actual win condition? If so, be a better person. They don't know about the dead weight. We could attack with the crab. Nah, I'm just gonna be patient here. The cover-up's nice. It just came, it was a little late, but I like our situation here. It was never banned in Best of 3, so I assume that's what build is talking about. Did I? Well, they had a whelp. How is that a good play? I may have missed the right play, but I was distracted coming back from the bathroom and everything. I don't want to cover that up either, though. Shit, what am I... Where did they kill... Okay. I'm all over the... Yeah. So what happened to our bat? I'm losing track of my life here. What? Okay. So, oh, because of this. Yeah. That's why. So I needed to figure out how to kill... I forgot the rules text on the whelp. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It was just, I was too distracted by needing to run to the bathroom to properly parse that attack combat situation. But we're going to let that happen. We'll make a dowser. No, we're going to have to let the crab do its thing. And probably have to shrink. Yeah, so that's a cast trigger. It gets to fly no matter what. Maybe we... Trying to figure out if we're putting the dead weight on the leapfrog to keep it from being able to leap up and add 6 to the air, or reduce this to a 1/1 flyer so that its clock is much slower. And I think that's probably correct. Reduce the clock of the thing that's steadily killing us, and then we'll save the... cover up here. I feel like when I left, I thought we were going to win this game, and then I came back and I feel like we're going to lose this game. So, you can just block here and then counter the Sure Strike, which is also good because it keeps that leapfrog down. All these cards suck. I guess we'll take a pass wall. And an imp now... an imp doesn't work against that flyer. Bats doesn't work against the flyer. I think we have to take a risk on the Notion Rain. But nothing else matters. We need to deal with the air situation, so I'm going to leave everything else where it is. Obviously, Pass Wall doesn't deal with the air situation, but it could actually help us deal 8 damage in time to win. Not a good draw. And we gotta hope they don't draw an instant, because the Leapfrogs finish us at 6 and 3 if they get an instant. Okay. Well, now we need to draw a Surveil spell. We need Oppo to not draw an instant or a sorcery, and we need to draw a Surveil spell so that we can make a 2/2 Spy Bug before the Whelp attacks. Give me a chance, man. Just don't let him have the instant for the instant kill. That's pretty darn good. They only get 1 here, though. They don't get 2 unblockables. But we're done for here. Super dead. Frustrating. Felt like we had 7 wins in sight. That's funny. We went lose 1, win 6, lose 2. That's the sequence we took on this one. Well, I got what I asked for, huh? So now we go Spy Bug. Well, they can still 4, 5, 6, 7. So if they don't draw a land, we can narrowly survive. No longer good for us. Now they get 2 activations, so we just lose. Bouncing on his turn versus our turn doesn't do anything. That's what's going on in my head. I'm frequently wrong, but my head said bouncing on their turn does nothing, so I... Oh yeah, well, unfortunately nature called and maybe cost me that game. Yeah, I may go back and look at that replay, but with the timer counting down and me completely detached from the game, that really cost me. Maybe I should have just tried to figure out how to hold it, but man, I had to go. Too much coffee and soda today. But we'll take a 6-3 on that one. That was not a great example of the Dimir deck, and yet it's still trotted up to 6 wins, so I can't really complain about that.